Locally owned, locally connected. Live from the 21 News studios in downtown Youngstown, this is 21 News, 11 p.m.
It was scenes like this in Boardman many of us saw tonight after heavy rain. Water rising so high, drivers were left to test their luck along 224 and Glenwood Avenue. ODOT has since closed 224 east of Lockwood Boulevard and State Route 165 between US 62 and State Route 46 due to flooding. Heavy rains and storms have drenched the valley since early this afternoon, creating some significant damage in Mahoning and Mercer counties. The damage from flooding so great it even caused Canfield schools to close tomorrow. We begin our team coverage with Danielle Cotterman. She's live now in Canfield and has the latest on the flooding there, as well as other parts of the valley. How's it looking now, though, Danielle?
Derek, Leslie, taking a look at this Canfield Giant Eagle parking lot now, it doesn't look like much. It's hard to believe that just a few short hours ago, some of these cars out here were stranded in high water, now left out here empty, and it's hard to believe that a lot of people were out here taking pictures, sharing these images across social media. This was the scene in front of the Giant Eagle in Canfield at about 8:30. Several cars stuck, stranded in high water. One onlooker saying he's lived in Canfield for more than 2 decades and has never seen flooding like this.
It's sad. I don't know what to do for them. I don't know how they're ever going to get it out, and their cars got to be shot.
Not far from there, State Route 11 at 224 shut down, also because of high water. Underneath the 224 overpass, one car stranded, waiting for a tow.
Behind me, you could see where the cars spun out. Route 11 had approximately 2 feet of water in that location there.
At Herbert Road near Blueberry Hill Drive, cars there testing the limit, driving through high water near a rushing creek. We found one teenager on his bike, taking it all in.
This is the worst area I've seen. Definitely Blueberry Hill was the worst. That person's garage is flooded. They have water all throughout the garage. I'm sure all their basements are flooded too. It's pretty bad.
Earlier in Trumbull County, the rain's not as heavy, but storm damage knocking down power lines along State Route 46 in Wethersfield, causing traffic to be rerouted. And in between Youngstown and Liberty Township, a reminder to motorists that it's the law to treat traffic lights without power as four-way stops. At Gypsy Lane and Belmont Avenue, dozens of cars speeding through the intersection. Luckily, no accidents reported. Now tonight, the cleanup. We drove by the windows here at the Giant Eagle and we saw some folks inside there cleaning up. Now for people who are dealing with damage at their homes, that Canfield has opened up an emergency shelter that's at the Canfield Presbyterian Church on West Main Street. Those are for those dealing with high water and have no place else to stay. Reporting in Canfield with more local news, I'm Danielle Cotterman.
Rising waters turn streets into rivers in a Poland neighborhood all too familiar with flooding problems. Chris Cerenelli spent the evening in the Canterbury Creek neighborhood where at this hour homeowners are still dealing with high water.
Yeah, Leslie and Derek, good evening to you. As you just mentioned, we're standing about 100 yards inside the entrance to the Canterbury Creek subdivision here in Poland, right near Hunter's Lane. And I'll step out of the way and show you what is going on behind me. This is just one of several areas along Cobbler's Run Road that is blocked off because of high water. Now, if you go a little bit up the hill around the corner here on Cobbler's Run, there were several houses that were affected pretty seriously by these floodwaters. And in fact, we have some video that we're going to show you. This was sent to us just a little bit earlier this evening of one of those homes. Jack Walters is dealing with this situation in his basement. He had 5 to 6 feet of water in his basement thanks to a giant hole in the foundation, about an 8-inch hole in that foundation. So just a torrential amount of water and a disastrous scene there at that house. Now, I talked to fire officials here a little bit earlier. They're telling me they said there's really not much they can do at this point. They're going to simply have to wait until this water recedes enough that they can get in there and assess the situation. There are pumps that are going behind me. We've heard several of those all throughout the evening. Fortunately, though, everyone I've talked to says that there are no injuries and it's just material and property damage at this point. I've had a couple of residents come up to me very frustrated and upset, understandably so. They say this is a common theme in here and in this area over the years, so this is surely something that we'll be having to address with officials over the next coming days and coming weeks. Reporting live in Poland with more local news. I'm Chris Cerenelli.
Thank you, Chris. A torrential downpour caused some serious flooding problems in Boardman Township.
Michelle Nix was in the thick of it and says first responders even tried to temporarily shut down a portion of the road because of high water and stranded motorists.
The minute our news car crossed over State Route 224 and onto Glenwood Avenue in Boardman Township, we were forced to turn the car around, even during our live broadcast.
Our photographer said he's not going any further in this.
But there was no escaping the flooding. As we turned onto State Route 224 between Market Street and Glenwood, the high water was a serious roadblock, stranding several cars, including a young woman who was determined to wait it out for a tow truck. Despite a tow truck blocking the street and firefighters, some are ignoring the warning to stay out of this high water.
My first reaction is, one, they're putting themselves needlessly in danger, and second, they're putting other people in danger.
And there was no safe haven from the water for homes and businesses.
And every time someone stops here, it comes flying through. Waves. Like waves.
Water damage that's sure to cost the Boardman Cornersburg Pizza to mop up. But they were still open for business.
People were still trying to order and call, and we're like, you can't get up and down 224.
But it seems the rain, floods, and even the sight of stranded motorists didn't deter others determined to get home. With more local news, I'm Michelle Nix.
Now in Mercer County, people are cleaning up after a storm swept through that area. A lot of people reporting some very large hail there.
Janet Rogers shows you what people are dealing with after the storm.
At Sandy Lake, Lena DeVinny was driving in an alley when suddenly the wind pushed her SUV down a hill into a ravine.
It was just like a wall of white and wind, and I just had the brakes on, and it just shoved me. I just started moving with the brakes on.
The hail in her hand had already melted for about an hour and a half.
About baseball size to golf ball size, and they were just jaggedy.
On State Route 358, also known as Sandy Lake Greenville Road, which is closed to traffic, Chrissy and Gary Regal found a tree went through their roof.
Taking the whole corner of the house out there, and I see the front door, took the screen out.
My husband said he can see daylight through the inside.
A major problem here in Sandy Lake is there are several trees down, closing roads, along with electrical wires. And you can tell a forceful wind swept through here by all the leaves on the ground.
Broad Street of 358.
Sandy Lake Fire and Rescue and police are working to identify and get help to the areas hardest hit.
Countless trees down, multiple power lines down, including live electric lines and phone and cable lines. We're asking everyone to please be patient. Our crews and the borough crews are working as quickly as they can to clear it up.
Penn Power linemen have plenty of work on their hands. Firefighters warning folks it's not only illegal to go around road closed signs, but it could be deadly. With more local news, I'm Janet Rogers.
Chief Meteorologist Eric Wilhelm has been tracking these storms all day for us.
He's here now with an update and if there is even more rain on the way. Eric.
Yeah, that's right. Next couple of days likely to be busy. Now, I don't expect a repeat of today necessarily, especially when we're talking about the flooding. But there's going to be more rounds of showers and storms over the next couple of days. Things are quieting down this evening. Just a couple of renegade showers out there, one in southern Columbiana County, another over towards Newcastle. That's about it. We'll be largely dry from here on out tonight. As far as hourly rain chances tomorrow, the morning largely dry. I can't rule out a passing shower tomorrow morning, but notice those rain chances start to ramp up again as we go into the afternoon. I think we'll see some showers and some thunderstorms impacting parts of our area tomorrow afternoon. Now, between tomorrow night, and into Thursday and Thursday night, a pretty wet 24 to 48 hour period. A rough estimate of how much additional rain. You can see there's a pretty big model spread here, but I think a rough estimate, a rough average, if you will be right around an inch. But there's going to be some locally higher amounts, especially if you're unlucky enough to get under a heavy-duty thunderstorm on a couple of occasions. So we've got a couple of pretty unsettled days on the way, but the payoff is going to be a beautiful day coming up on Friday. Derek?
Here's a look at the current outages across our viewing area. In Mahoning County, about 2,500 people are still without power. The bulk of those are in Struthers. In Mercer County, around 400 people are without power, and in Columbiana County, about 300 people. In Trumbull County, only 150 are in the dark. We'll have the latest on those outages and restoration times on our 21 News app. We also have a full slideshow of all the viewer pictures that were sent in as well.